Hey guys, Joe here, and here I am today to talk about the top 5 most competitive video games in my opinion. I will only have one game per genre, so that should vary the list quite a bit. Now that I've had that all DAC and out of the way, let's get this list started. For number 5, I had to go with something a little bit different and out of the box. Now, as I said, there won't be more than one game per genre, so do not expect Madden, because this is FIFA. If you get your mind out of the hatred of sports games, then you might actually come to see some of the fun and competitiveness of this game. It has a great online and requires skilled players to spend many hours to first off acquire the best team. After that, you have to learn how to trick the opponent and learn just how you're supposed to win game, which is a lot different in this game comparatively to a game like Mortal Kombat. A lot of people hate on FIFA, but if you do give it a serious chance, you'll find out how hard it can be to win and how difficult a seemingly simple sports game is. The next one I need to put on this list is League of Legends. This game was one that is very easy to get into, but very hard to master. The company that owns the game makes weekly tournaments online with real teams and real life looking teams, and creates a very sports-like looking environment, making it almost feel like the kind of thing that you would see on TV. The only problem about this game is that it's hard to tell if somebody is good. There aren't way too many extremely flashy plays that you can do during a game, maybe only one or two that you can complete in a single game. And this is a lot different comparatively to something like Super Smash Bros. Melee, because in that game it is very easy to see who's better. To get good in League, you'll need to spend countless hours memorizing every move of every champion and learning all the matchups. This gives the game a long-lasting lifespan, but once again makes it not as fun to watch. Overall, it's a very great, fun, competitive game, but hard to see who really deserves the win just by the looks of it. Smash Bros. Melee is extremely different than the ones previous on this list, that being that it is super easy to see who is better and who is the better player. There are a lot of difficult techniques in this game and combos that create a huge learning curve and a huge learning experience. The game is super fast paced and is very nice to stream because of the high action which people like to see. The problem with the game is that the high skill cap and the high entry cap to join is just very difficult to let you start playing the game. This makes it very hard to get into the scene, and it becomes very discouraging towards newer players because the older players will completely stomp the newer ones. Many people will instead go to the newer games than this one because it is more enjoyable and also still somewhat competitive. The only reason I cannot put this great game higher on the list is because outside of the USA, the melee scene is really dying out. Most more developed countries don't really have time to go to events or just don't have big areas put out in the open for big events. This makes newer games like Smash 4 more accessible and more played in most places but the US. It's a great game, but it is slowly losing its popularity. The number 2 spot I eventually decided would go to Counter-Strike. There are many other super competitive FPS games, but personally I think this one takes the cake as the most personal skill that you need and the most skill that you can gain and allows players to gain in the scene. It doesn't take the most skill to start playing the game, but as you get better you'll find that the amount of time you have to put into the game is a lot. It takes a lot of time to get better. There are many streams and tournaments for this game, and that once again will help boost the competitiveness of any single game. It is a great game to watch and also pretty fun to see just a single player versus the world. If you enjoy the FPS genre, then this is where you can find competitive players that want to legitimately improve instead of just showing off with their 360 no scopes all the time. Number 1 had to go to Starcraft 2. This is one of the biggest games in the world and has a huge following in places like South Korea. If you have ever watched a video of the Korean scene spectating, you can see the tension in between the players and the teams and how much it actually matters. Many adults there actually accept this as a sport and it has become enormous. Now if you live in the USA, you might not be into it as much as other places, but a lot of other places do actually take it very seriously. The games are extremely skill based and require a lot of macro and micro at the same time, making you try to scout and see what your opponent is doing, and then preparing your army as a counter, making bases, and just learning what to upgrade at the right times. It's very difficult. This game has become very balanced also in between the 3 factions. All 3 factions can win pretty equally, and that makes it a lot more fun to play and watch. If you haven't seen this game yet, or you're looking for a competitive possibility, then this one is definitely the one to put all your time and energy. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, then make sure to leave a like and comment down below what top 5 competitive games you think there are, and maybe I'll go over it in my Twitter or I'll go over it in a video in the future. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next week.